So Ruffalo, if you're watching, get better soon. Hopefully you'll be with us for this tomorrow. So we're down to the three of us. Francesca joined by Charlotte Hawkins right now. And as we'll see in a second, Charlotte, the King is here again alongside the Queen, because there was talk through the morning. He's a busy man. He might not be here today.
He is a busy man. He was earlier today at a service at Windsor Castle to mark the 75th anniversary of Windrush, and he talked about the profound and permanent contribution to British life the Windrush generation has made. So we did wonder if, as a consequence of going to that service, he wasn't going to be able to attend today, but he is here from Carriage One.
Really good. Really shows commitment to this.
And he also commissioned portraits of 10 elders from the original Windrush generation, and they were unveiled last week, and there was a programme about it on Tuesday as well. So yes, like you said, he's trying to fulfil a lot of his original commitments whilst also coming to Ascot for 3 days.
So we know one face very well in this first carriage. Charlotte, who is in with the King and Queen in the first carriage this afternoon?
It is the Earl of Snowdon and Sir Mark Prescott, Baronet. Now, the Earl of Snowdon, first cousin of the King, Princess Margaret's son. The late Queen was his godmother. He is 25th in line to the throne. He spent much of his early life at Buckingham Palace, so as cousins they would holiday together, spend time together as children. And Sir Mark Prescott, as you know, trainer of more than 50 years, over 2,000 winners to his name, including last year in the Arc.
Yes,
that was an emotional one for him, wasn't it?
It really was, because he's a bit of a legend of the training rank, not only for being a brilliant trainer, but also he's a proper character. In Newmarket, he's just known for his brilliant storytelling, and he's got loads of interest actually outside of racing. He's a big fan of bullfighting. He was a big fan of horsing and all of those blood sports, and unashamedly will tell you about it.
See, when you go to see him, it's like having a history lesson.
Yes.
He's the best storyteller, as you say. So let's put the boot on the other foot, because you know him well. I'm sure he's mates with your mum and dad. What's your best Sir Mark Prescott story?
Well, I do remember going to his house once, which is, I'm not sure it's changed a huge amount since he probably first moved in quite a long time ago. And the yard, by the way, is immaculate. There's not a single piece of hay out of place. And he runs a pretty tight ship, but he's got these amazing pictures of on the wall when he was went bullfighting in Spain, and he's got literally the moment before. I think this might sound a little bit gory, but the bull had, I think, been what's the right word? Being speared by the matador, and it was just that crucial moment. I think he actually took the picture himself, and he's got it right there on the wall. Super proud of it, and yeah, he just absolutely loves it.
And he's on the right there, and he loves a written letter. When Alpinista won, I wrote him a letter and got a scrawled letter back. He loves letter writing, so Mark. If you ever want him to do something or see around his yard, I recommend you write a letter.
And I understand he's training for the King this year. He's had the first time he's had runners for the reigning monarch, so obviously a special year in connection as well.
I wonder if he has to stick to the rules of the other owners, because he only speaks to them on Sunday morning, I think. I think you're going to allocate time to speak to Sir Mark on a Sunday morning. I wonder if the King gets that. As we move to carriage 2, Charlotte.
Where we have the Princess Royal and her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, and also the Lady Sarah Chatto and Mr. Daniel Chatto in that carriage as well. Princess Royal, of course, known as the hardest working royal, a keen equestrian, her husband often by her side. He's been a prominent member of the royal family for decades. Now, he was in the Royal Navy. He served on board the royal yacht Britannia and was a former equerry to the late Queen. Lady Sarah Chatto, who we see there as well. Princess Margaret's daughter, the Earl of Snowdon's sister, so another of King Charles's cousins. And
I think they've had a late switcheroo here.
They did have a little late switch-arounds. We don't quite know what happened, maybe...
Because that's definitely not Lady Chatto.
Oh! Interesting.
I think Sheikh Hamad bin Abdullah Al Thani might have switched carriages late.
Yes, I think he was originally intended to be in carriage 3, and now he's
promoted to number 2.
In carriage number 2.
The one thing I can guarantee is that's not Lady Sarah Chatto.
And had I looked up as I was reading through my information, I might have spotted that. His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Abdullah Al Thani, member of the Qatari ruling family, and both the late Queen and King Charles have been guests at their family home in Park Lane. He's chief executive of Quipco, which owns Qatar Racing and Qatar Bloodstock, based in Gloucestershire.
So I reckon in this carriage, therefore, are the Chisholms, who are meant to be there, and I think they're joined, yes they are, the Chateaus are in there, rather than carriage
They've got on the
2.
wrong carriage then, or do you think they decided there was going to be a switch around? Whichever way, Baroness Chisholm of
We're going to send the people to the Tower who sent us the carriage list this morning.
Baroness Chisholm is a peer in the House of Lords and was last year announced as one of Queen Camilla's companions. Now that's a more updated role of lady-in-waiting. The Queen has 6 of these. It's the trusted circle of close friends. She was a Conservative peer, but she had to resign the whip to take up that role. She's a horse racing fan and is often spotted at Royal Ascot with King Charles and Camilla as well.
Now, the 4th carriage are going to be some familiar faces, we hope. We might not say who's in there until we can see, but we reckon it's going to be racing dominated, Francesca.
It looks like it. I think from there we can already see on the far side Lady Carolyn Warren next to Rachel Hood, and Lady Carolyn will be in there with her husband John Warren and the trainer John Gosden.
Yeah, John Gosden near side on the left, who had a double yesterday. A fantastic day for the Gosdens, and I love the picture as Mostadaf won the big race yesterday, the Prince of Wales. Damo, our cameraman, captured a kiss between John and Rachel just as Mostadaf passed. It was an amazing shot. You saw it in the opening credits today as well. And Lady Carolyn, everyone looks wonderful. My goodness, she oozes, always oozes
Always
style.
have a soft spot for Lady Carolyn.
I just think she's so stylish.
She really is.
On the left as we look there.
Yeah, very much so. And also a super successful breeder, owner, consigner as well. They have Highclere stud. And, well, her and her husband, John, very much in the business together, but now son Jake taking over as well. They've bred all sorts of brilliant horses, including Palace Pier, who won the Queen Anne here, trained by John Gosden, who's also in the carriage, so plenty to reminisce on there. And they've actually got Tony Montana, who they bred running today. He sold for over £400,000 to Ammo Racing. He runs today. And in fact, talking about a global operation, Coolangatta, who ran here on Tuesday in the King's Stand State. She was bred by Highclere Australia. They've only got a handful of mares over there, but super successful as well.
And it's been a momentous week for the Warrens. John Warren, as I mentioned, I think on Tuesday actually, Charlotte, has had a serious award.